My unit, salute. I know this is going to get out to you guys pretty late. This amped up for Wednesday, May 7 for the year 2025. But full transparency, I actually was able to catch NXT in totality last night. I did my notes, watched with a keen eye, did my due diligence, got my ducks in a row for this upload. And even though the day got away from BC and a lot of other business had to be attended to, I'll be damned if we ain't talking about NXT. I didn't do all that work for nothing. So I don't care how late this gets out to you guys. It might be midnight. Grab your coffees. Sit back, max, relax while BC drops the facts match by match NXT. Because there were some big developments last night that really set the card for Battleground down in Tampa in just a couple of weeks. So we'll cover all of that. AEW is about to hit the airwaves in about an hour or two. So I will try to do my due diligence on AEW Dynamite as well. And tomorrow for the Thursday edition of Amped Up. And there will be a Thursday edition of Amped Up for the 8th of May. We'll be featuring AEW Dynamite. I'm hearing Tony Khan is putting together, or trying to anyway, hoping to put on a pretty big show tonight. Of course, every promoter says that. And when it's all said and done, we're kind of like, where's the big show? Not Paul White, by the way. No, nobody's yearning for Paul White. We'll see, man. I hope the boys and gals from AEW Dynamite really bring it. We could really use a really good wrestling show, man. I don't care what the company is. WWE, AEW, TNA, the local bingo hall. We need a good show, man. We need to just... Pro wrestling needs some good string of solid, actually good and even great shows, man. Even WrestleMania didn't produce that. So we're in need of that. So NXT did their best. The ladies, man, tried to rock it out last night. We'll go over that in this review. For the cold open teaser, I want to actually mingle in AEW. It's fitting because AEW is hitting the airwaves in just a little bit. We'll be talking AEW Dynamite tomorrow. And my cold open teaser, big story I want to discuss before I get into NXT, is actually Will Ospreay. Current AEW talent, almost WWE talent, had talks with Paul Levesque, McMahon, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, and just didn't get good vibes, didn't like what he was hearing. The travel was something that he knew, just, with the family schedule that he has, it wasn't vibing, wasn't clicking. But one thing that he hasn't been is... He hasn't been one to shy away from questions about WWE and why he didn't sign with them and what didn't feel right. And he was recently asked about WWE yet again, the competition. Now, this is where you give the politically correct or the safe answer, right? I don't pay attention to them. We're just focused on us. Wish them the best. High tides are going to raise all ships, right? So WWE's doing good. We're doing good. Awesome. Or you can give a safe answer. There's a million safe answers to give. That's not Will Ospreay. So when asked about WWE, man, he gives a lengthy response. He tells you exactly what he feels about WWE. And then he says, we're just better than them. Little MJF, if you will. This is what he said. And then you guys can dissect it and kind of, is Will Ospreay right? Or, dude, if these companies were to lock up, professional wrestling, not UFC shoot fighting, but wrestling, who's got the better roster? This is what Will Ospreay says. Let me get a swig of coffee, and I'll give you guys an exact quote. And you guys let that digest, sink in, comprehend Will Ospreay, and come to your own conclusion. Starbucks double shot macchiato, by the way. They nailed that. They nailed that drink, man. Shout out to Starbucks. Will Ospreay says the following about WWE. As a viewer, but also as a wrestler, I just don't enjoy it. I haven't even watched WrestleMania. From what I heard, it wasn't even the best of Manias. I was never a WWE guy. I just don't like the show. I don't like the style of wrestling. I don't like the presentation. He goes on to say, of course, I respect WWE and I admire everyone there. But for me, there's always been this little bit of rivalry where I'm like, yeah, you guys are the biggest. You get the biggest crowds. But when the bell rings, I think we're better than All of them. Ospreay goes on to say, honestly, on my worst day, I'm better than a lot of those guys in the ring. Generally, I don't think there is anyone from that side that matches any of our guys. End quote. Lot to unpack there, right? I mean, that's a lot to digest. Of course, from the jump, right? Nobody needs to explain that he's sticking up for his company, right? He's asked a question again. He could have played it safe. He decided to go full throttle honesty. I respect that. Turn it up to 11. Let's get amplified. I've always liked Will Ospreay. And full transparency, it's not even the Ospreay that a lot of you guys may like, which is all the flips and the dives and the wildness and whoa, 5 stars, 10 stars, 20 stars, Ospreay. I don't care about the stars. I don't care about the flips. I don't care about the dives. I actually, when he's in the zone, he's good on the mic. He can put storylines on his back. And when he slows down his pace, he could put on damn good wrestling matches. I always thought, dude, you put Ospreay with a Roman Reigns? That's right. Think about that. BC, Roman can't hang with Ospreay doing the flip. You don't need to. When Ospreay dumbs it down, if you will, slows it down, sets the tones, sells 45% more, put the spot fest away, Ospreay captivates, man. He doesn't get enough credit for that style. He's just known for this one thing. What drew me to Will Ospreay and being a supporter of Ospreay was everything else. It's just really funny, or I guess ironic would be the better word, that he literally says, I was never a WWE guy, but he would actually fit so damn well in WWE. It's an AJ Styles situation, right? Where everybody thought when Styles came over, Vince was just going to crush him at every turn. But AJ Styles, no matter what they threw at him, he would turn shit into gold. So McMahon couldn't turn a blind eye and eventually just said, let's go with it. It's clear there's something special here. It doesn't matter how much we try to keep the dude down. He's going to the top. Some dudes, it's just, there's nothing you can do. They're going to the top because it's almost like it's just meant to be. AJ Styles, no matter where you plant him, he's going to go to the top of that company. Ospreay, I truly believe he would do that in WWE. And I know WWE, they have this thing, whether it's an NXT call-up or somebody from another company, they want to dress you down, strip away your self-confidence, rip away your self-esteem. Absolutely just crush any semblance of confidence that you have and then kick you when you're down and then rebuild you in the WWE way so you are literally a WWE guy. I don't think Ospreay would buy into any of that. I truly don't think Styles ever did. As he got older and he can't do as much and he's thinking about putting the kids in college or whatever, yeah, he became more of a company guy. I don't think AJ Styles ever bought into the BS. Styles always beat to his own drum. I think Ospreay is just cut from that same cloth. So that's just a side assessment that I've noticed from Ospreay. You can plant him anywhere. I truly think he's going to just ascend no matter what the booking gives them, or if the company doesn't want him to be the guy, I think he's just going to be. Because again, what drew somebody like BC to Ospreay is everything that nobody would think of, right? It's always the high-flying maneuvers, the wild sequences. Those 5-star, 10-star matchups that everybody's talking about. No, I like the ones where he's just throwing some clotheslines, some body slams, talking some trash, playing to the crowd, whatever it is. The storylines, man, there's a realism and a believability to Will Ospreay. That's the biggest thing. Even somebody like Shane McMahon, you can bash Shane all you want. Shane McMahon brought a believability and a realism in every feud he was in. I always think, we were just talking about AJ Styles. Shane McMahon and AJ Styles is one of my favorite feuds of all time in pro wrestling. And I know it's underrated, it's not really thought about. But Shane McMahon and Styles is one of those feuds that I just... Yeah, man. I still remember what Styles putting, was it Shane McMahon through the windshield or vice versa? That was a wild parking lot spot. But just there was a belief in Shane's look and I was just like, man, you're just drawn into that. You find yourself taking out your wallet, going, which card? Gotta see the culmination of that feud. There's a believability and a realism. So anyway, Will Ospreay that's a huge assessment. I felt like I just had to tell you why BC is a supporter of Ospreay, and it's not what you may think. It's not why everybody else is a big supporter. I don't need all the flips and dives and all that. So when he says something like this, right, let's bring it back to this. A lot to unpack. And he says that I respect the WWE. I admire everyone there, but for me, there's always been this rivalry. And even though you guys are the biggest and you got the biggest crowds, I think we're better than all of them. He says, honestly, on my worst day, I'm better than a lot of those guys. And on his worst day, he's better than a lot of them. And he goes, when the bell rings, I think we're better than all of them. So not just a lot of them, all of them. But he says himself, on his worst day, he's better than still most of that locker room. He says, I don't think there is anyone from WWE that matches any of our guys. I don't think there is anyone from that side that matches our guys. That is a heavy statement. Now, a lot of them are actually from WWE, so they'd be taking on what, you know what I mean? Like that's, a lot of them have been on that side. And then there's the people, like Swerve, Cope, Mox, the females, man, Mercedes Moné, Toni Storm, so many. But the ones like Ospreay, that's when you kind of got to think the matches he would have with WWE talent. You can't just say WWE talent would steamroll over Ospreay or Hangman Page or Kenny Omega. Like, he's got a point that they have built, not just brought WWE guys over. I mean, they have some homemade talent or some talent that was brought to the spotlight and limelight from AEW that actually are household names now in pro wrestling. And you have to give some respect to, even if you don't watch AEW or you just say, you got to give some respect. I mean, Hangman Page, man, Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay, these are names that, if they take on somebody like who? Solo Sikoa, Jey Uso, your world champion, they don't have a damn good chance of beating? Again, we're talking in the realm of scripted, planned, predetermined combat. But in the realm of professional wrestling, who was saying that Jason Uso's beating Kenny Omega or Will Ospreay on any given day? Could it happen? Yes. And any given day, they can beat Jason Uso. Gunther tapping out to Jason Uso in 8 seconds left a taste in everybody's mouth that he can lose easily to Speedball Michael Bailey. That's just the truth. If you're asking what's a Speedball Mike Bailey, I hear ya. But it's a real wrestler. He's going to be on Dynamite tonight. I mean, the way Gunther is booked, I mean, he's picking on commentators after he tapped out in 8 seconds to his own move to lose his championship to a tag team guy, Jason Uso. So, yeah, if you're saying Gunther can beat any of these dudes in AEW, I'd have to bat an eyelash and ask twice, excuse me? You sure about that? I truly believe that Ospreay believes every single word that he is saying. I mean, he is never afraid to speak his mind, and he always tells his truth. And I think he's thinking, if WWE lined up their best and we lined up ours, that's how much I believe in our side. And he's thinking of just his side. Mox and Edge, Cope, Powerhouse Hobbs, Bobby Lashley, Hurt Syndicate, himself, Ospreay, Kenny Omega, Swerve, Hangman Page, MJF. And on the other side, they're looking at Roman Reigns, if he even shows up, Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, CM Punk, no stranger to the AEW locker room. And he's had some of those battles. Miro and Malachi Alistair, that'd be funny, right? They just, I mean, they're lining up theirs. It would be interesting, man. If there was one pay-per-view that would be so, worth, if it was like a $500 price tag, $500 for a pay-per-view, would you pay for it? WWE versus AEW, one night only, 10 matches. Would you pay $500? Because I would. I ain't gonna bullshit you. I would absolutely drop $5, man. To see that, because that's just a lot of fun. Tag teams, man. I mean, there's no tag team in WWE that I don't think the Young Bucks could hang with. They definitely could. Young Bucks could on any given day beat any tag team in WWE. That's just the truth. Much respect to the New Day and the War Raiders. Pretty Dudley. Motor City. DIY, but I think Young Bucks can hang with them all. Ladies, Mercedes can clearly rock with Bianca Belair in any of them. Mercedes was most of that main roster in WWE's best matches. Whether a Charlie Flair, a Becky Lynch, a Bianca, anybody, Bayley. Of course Mercedes can hang with them all. Toni Storm was there. Toni Storm was rocking out with Charlie Flair and all them. She'll rock out with Rhea Ripley and Tiffany Stratton some more. I'm pretty sure Megan Bayne would like a crack at Rhea Ripley. That'd be pretty fun. I would absolutely drop it, but it's interesting when you really take a deep dive into the talent pool and you say there's 10 matches, AEW's best versus WWE's best. Is Will Ospreay right? And if he's wrong, because I know most people are going to rip these statements, but if he's wrong, by how much? You're talking about Bobby Lashley, Edge, Cope, Mox, Swerve, Hangman, him, MJF. I mean, this is a good roster, man. If AEW can just really get momentum, they have a chance at being real competition. It's just pro wrestling is just, I truly feel until WWE hits a stride and gets their momentum back, their mojo, I don't think anybody else in pro wrestling can. Because that is even Will Ospreay said, they're the biggest show in town. They're the most crowds. But the morale is down, not just with the talent, but with the fans. We can feel it. There's no excitement. We talked about it yesterday. Podcasters, content creators, journalists, they have to fake excitement, right? They have to call every show good or great. And they, can't wait for this event. We're not really feeling that. If you're over the age of 12, no grown adult is getting excited over what we just saw on Raw or on SmackDown. The ratings are showing you that. SmackDown just went down to a 1-4 from a 1-6. 1,599 previous, 1,402. Lost 200,000 viewers. Raw last week, it's on a 7-day delay in numbers. Last week, compared to the week before, they dropped half the audience, man, back to 3 mil. And that's globally over a 7-day period. U.S. domestic, they're right back at the 1-2. I think it was at 125. My point is, that shows you nobody's watching. Nobody's excited about this. But until WWE gets their momentum, I think that's the only way pro wrestling can really get a jolt. And AEW feels those effects. If AEW is going to bring that momentum and jolt without WWE success, it's going to take a lot. It's not impossible, but like starting tonight, they would have to just start putting out NWO type storylines. And of course, not the same thing. It's a different time, different era. Can't just recreate that. So many people have tried in so many ways. I'm just saying something of that monumental status, right? That totally shifts pro wrestling and brings casuals and lapsed fans just running back to see what's going on. It's going to take something massive if you're going to overthrow momentum from WWE. But if there's ever a time, now is it. Because WWE, since Hunter Hearst Helmsley has grabbed control, they just cannot find momentum. If they find a week or two that's pretty decent or good, they fall right back even worse the following week. Under Hunter Hearst Helmsley, WWE is struggling mightily. Record revenue is what they were touting the first year for Hunter Helmsley. Now they're not touting it anymore. Right? Last quarter was the first quarter they recorded. They went backwards in revenue. They lost. And they tried to come up with 100 different excuses. They're coming up with excuses of why WrestleMania wasn't a legit sellout. Why they didn't have a string of sellouts going into Mania. Why there's so many empty seats for this Monday Night's Raw. It's really bad if you guys haven't heard. And so many events going forward. They're still trying to sell tickets for Backlash. That's their big PLE in just a couple of nights. Monday night, 3 different times they were trying to post to sell tickets for Friday Night SmackDown because there's still so many tickets for SmackDown. What's going on, man? Remember there was a time where business was booming and they're recording record revenue? It's not happening. It's not happening at all. In AEW, if there's a chance to capitalize, it is now. They have the roster to do it. Now you get creative. Now is where you got to tap into your very best. So I actually like that this is their thought process. It was wild to hear Ospreay spew that. But I love it. I hope everybody in that locker room of AEW feels that way. Just like I hope everybody in WWE feels that way. So if we're ever fortunate enough, all of us, the whole wrestling world, that we're able to come to a moment where there's true competition and it's neck and neck, AEW, WWE, man, it'll be so volatile because you have all these wrestlers who've been feeling this way for so long. And now they're like this. You know, that's all we can hope for. So he's probably going to get bashed by a lot of people. Don't even focus on them. Why even say something like that? WWE would crush you. I love the mentality, and that's part of it's part of what I like about Ospreay. He just doesn't bullshit, man. You ask a question, this is the answer. Might not always be the safest answer. It might not be the answer that's not going to have him get clobbered by so many fans. Who gives a shit? Ospreay's still going to go out there when the bell rings and believe his truth. He's one of, if not the best in the world. Remains to be seen if that is actually the case. But I really think he has to have that run. I don't want to say a WWE run, but he has to have a string of matchups where people truly see the other side of Ospreay. Don't worry about the flips and the dives and all of that, man. Like, literally just put on an old school pro wrestling match and people are going to be blown away by the psychology that this dude can bring to the table. Because that's a side that not a lot of people know about Ospreay or even believe is within his arsenal. But it is, trust me. So that's interesting, man. It's wild, bro. Just don't like the show. I don't like the style of wrestling. I don't like the presentation. I think when the bell rings, we're just better than all of them. On my worst day, I'm better than a lot of those guys in the ring. Generally, I don't think there's anyone from that side that matches any of our guys. I mean, AEW has a stacked roster too, man. So if you're going to say WWE would just crush them, all right. Would it really be that easy? That's in the eye of the beholder, man. You guys to decide. I want to get to the NXT. That took way longer than I wanted. I enjoy that type of topic. I haven't been able to talk really WWE, AEW, like a what-if scenario if they ever did collide. But this type of topic, this type of news story allows BC to do that. That's what truly gets me excited in pro wrestling, right? The things that actually intrigue me. And man, the stories you could tell. And the content, the television we'd be getting just leading into the pay-per-view. I couldn't even, man. That'd be amazing. Or if Ospreay ever found himself in WWE, or some of those WWE guys found their way into AEW, that may have been dream matches for a lot of people. Ospreay versus a WWE guy. Hey, you never know, man. They could find themselves in AEW, and all of a sudden Ospreay is going, all right, now's our chance to find out. All right, so this is what happened, man. NXT, let me get a swig, and we're going to talk NXT 5/6/2025. A lot of big developments for Tampa Bay's Battleground in just a couple weeks. So the Dark State defeated a Hank, a Tank, and a Joe Hendry. I'm pretty sure Hendry lost every WWE NXT match he's been in. If I'm wrong, maybe he's won one or two, maybe. But every time I see Joe Hendry in a WWE ring, he's losing, man, or NXT ring. He's always losing. It's kind of... It was funny at first, but then I'm like, he's got to be careful. TNA may may want to reconsider this deal they have with WWE. I was saying even with losses, he's gaining exposure, which is gaining TNA exposure. But then you see the TNA ratings, the numbers, it's not really showing that result. So even though he's at Mania, you're just remembering him collecting that RKO and that TNA guy got his ass whooped. That's what it's starting to become, guys. It's just the truth. I'm cracking the numbers. I'm not seeing where TNA is benefiting anymore. I gave it a chance. I thought they would get a rub. It's just not the case. They may want, or just talk to Sean and Levesque McMahon or whoever and just go, hey, can we win some of these big matchups? Just some of them. I mean, the title is on the line at Battleground, I believe, for Joe Hendry, right? And Trick. I mean, Trick cannot lose that matchup unless you're going to boot him to the main roster. Levesque McMahon doesn't know what to do with the people he's got now on the main roster. Do you want another one? But Joe Hendry can't drop his TNA championship at Battleground either. What do you do in that booking situation? Joe Hendry needs to pick up a W, man. This is becoming sad. Another L for Joe Hendry, a Hank and a tank. Dark State continues to dominate. I don't know why. This group does nothing for me. And then at the end or the beginning of their matches, they have the lights go out and they have that weird like Wyatt 6 graphic, but they're not the Wyatts. They don't have supernatural powers. I don't know why we're doing that. I don't know why they need the lights out or they're dressed in the mask as if they're a bootleg Retribution that nobody needs to see clearly. That didn't work for Retribution. Nobody needs a bootleg Retribution. And I know, BC, man, they're good young talents. Let's give them a chance. I'm giving them a chance. They're not doing a damn thing for me. I'm just watching a bunch of kids form a group and try to act like they're badass. There's levels to this, man. That's cute that they wanted to give these dudes just a massive rocket instantly. There's a reason we don't do that, though. There's levels to this. Hold on. Let's think about this. Dark State does nothing for BC, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one. Big ladies match up next, and I just don't understand what they're doing with Kalani. Nobody does it better than Lani, except for everybody these days. Zarya defeats Kalani Jordan via pinfall. Sol Ruka is at ringside like, damn! Did you guys see Sol Ruka? I know she's a beautiful girl, but man, at ringside last night, that beauty went to... There's levels to this? Sol Ruka just said, yeah, there's levels to this beauty. And you ain't seen nothing yet. Damn, Sol Ruka. So anyway, as I said, Zarya defeats Kalani Jordan. I just feel like all Kalani does these days is lose. I just said it. Her whole motto is nobody does it better than Lani, but currently everybody's doing it better than Lani. Nobody loses more than Lani, is what it seems, unless your name is Roxanne Perez Roxy, who I love. But damn, it's so sad to see what's going on with Roxy. Roxanne Perez status, man. This is one of their best female wrestlers on that roster, Kalani Jordan, and former North American champion, by the way, title holder. She had that title. She was rocking out. She dropped the title, and it's almost like Shawn Michaels is like, all right, just go to the back of the line. We'll recycle. We'll get back to you maybe. Kalani Jordan's too damn good to pick up this many losses this close together. I don't know what they're doing with her. They turned her like heel, but it's not fitting. I thought she was a fine face. I thought she was rocking out. She was coming into her own. I don't know, man. Zarya picks up a W. They want to give her a piece of the rock, and I'm fine with that. She definitely has the look. I'm liking what they got going with her and Sol Ruka. I just don't know what they're doing with Kalani Jordan. And they have to be careful because it's hitting Roxanne Perez status. And anyone that goes, well, BC, Perez is getting main roster spotlight. She's in matches now, man, with Rhea Ripley, and she's out there with this person, and doesn't matter. All you're doing is you're putting more tallies into the category, subconsciously or consciously. You're putting more tallies into the category of just another average wrestler. That's what you're doing. Everything that made Roxanne Perez special, WWE is just stripping down. We talked about it earlier. And the whole Will Ospreay half-an-hour teaser. And what his words for WWE and how WWE likes to just get a wrestler, strip them down, take away their confidence, self-esteem, anything that makes them special, and then rebuild them in a total WWE way. Now you're a WWE superstar. Some people don't need to be rebuilt. Roxy doesn't need to be rebuilt. Booker T and his fine folks taught her everything she needs to know. She went out and rocked out on her own, got to that spot on her own, gained the adulation and the support of people like BC on her own. She doesn't need to lose 26 matches in a row for WWE to rebuild her on a 6-match winning streak. Because that's what you're going to see. All of these losses is only going to lead to a few matches. Not even 6, by the way. Roxanne will win a couple of matchups. She'll be in one big feud. Fans will be like, because they've already dug such a big hole. I mean, you're telling the fans, why even care about somebody like Roxy? And that's sad. So when you finally give her something, nobody's going to care. We just saw it with Bronson Reed. You're seeing it currently with Braun Breaker, even with Paul Heyman and Sethington Rollins. When you dig a hole so deep, it's going to take you that much longer to dig out of it. BC's dropping facts. You damn well know it. Kalani Jordan, be careful with that. Massive Invitational Battle Royal next. This was so chaotic, my eyes twitching again. Massive Invitational Battle Royal ended hour 1, began hour 2. This was for the number 1 contendership for Obafemi's World Championship Battleground. Elias was in this match. You guys remember Elias? He was up in this. Pretty cool to see him. I saw some wild shit in this match. One dude, and I guess he was the runner-up on LFG, he was shaking the ropes like he's the Ultimate Warrior, and then he just gets a boot to the mouth and he's eliminated. It was just literally Das Boot to the, like he was doing the Ultimate Warrior shtick, and he was all into it, acting like a badass and wild. I'm a wild man. And then somebody just kicked him, and he's like, "Up, damn it, I'm wild, but stupid." Then I saw another dude. No idea at all who this dude was, but he launches himself over the top rope and onto another dude, subsequently eliminating himself. Clearly, nobody explained the rules to this dude. He just launched himself over the top rope into another guy that was on the apron, and they both just went over. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? It's a battle royal. You're flying over the top rope, probably on the list of things you don't want to do in a Royal Rumble or Battle Royal. Somebody tell these people the rules. It's like WWE's main roster when they had Roman Reigns and CM Punk. Roman Reigns and CM Punk's feud ignited because Roman was upset CM Punk eliminated him from the Rumble. What did Roman... I know Roman's not around a lot, but what did he think the rules were? CM Punk wasn't going to look at him, smile, and give him a coffee. They're not going to have some swigs of coffee, man, and CM Punk's just going to eliminate himself because Roman Reigns is in the ring, and he doesn't know the rules. These battle royals are getting funny, man, because it's like, in what world, what realm would that happen in a battle royal? The dude shaking the ropes. Get in the ring. What are you doing on the outside shaking ropes? Fucking maniac. Get in the ring, bro. People can say all they want about the Warrior. I'm pretty sure he would shake the ropes, but he would get inside first and then shake them. I don't know. That's just PC's way of thought. Anyway, as I said, I saw a lot of wild shit in this, man. Wild finish. Javon Evans, Ethan Page, Sean Spears, all in this thing, rocking out. But it was Miles Bourne. If you're wondering who? I know, I'm with you. I don't know. He looks like a younger, much smaller, skinnier, bootleg version of Randy Orton. He's probably a good dude. He looks like he's a decent wrestler. He's got to stop doing that scoop body slam like Orton does, because that's only going to make people go, Orton bootleg, dollar store Orton. You don't want it. You don't want the Wish Orton, man. So he's got to be a little careful on his moveset, because he already looks like he wants to be that, and then he's doing the scoop slams, and then he's kicking up like Shawn Mike. I don't know. He's a plethora of a lot of things. I'm sure he's pretty decent. But Miles Bourne wins this matchup. Little Randy, we'll call him Little Randy for now. And the headlines are all, Miles Bourne, what's his name? Miles Bourne, right? Miles Bourne shocks the wrestling world. I'm like, no, he didn't, bro, because most of the wrestling world doesn't know what a Miles Bourne is. Stop. He didn't shock the wrestling world. If you want to say that about Jey Uso, that's fine. I don't think it was the right type of shock for a lot of us. But if you want to say that, that's fine. It's Jason Uso, everybody knows. But Miles Bourne didn't shock the wrestling world, bro. All it did was another decision where we're all kind of like, Little Randy's taking on Oba freaking Femi? That's what people are supposed to buy tickets to Tampa Bay's Battleground, and you wonder why there's so many tickets left? I'm not knocking it per se. It's a questionable call, man. Miles Bourne versus Oba, and of course they're going for that shock factor, right? This wild card. Whoa, Miles Bourne. Obviously, somebody wants it. That's probably going to be on Unreal, right? The TV show on Netflix. This is probably going to be an episode where Hunter Hearst Helmsley flies down to Orlando and plays Papa H, and he calls Miles Bourne into the room. It's just Miles, Helmsley, and a whole camera crew. And he's like, listen, kid, you got my good side? You got 3 cameras on us? All right, you ready? You're rolling, right? Okay, kid, I'm going to put the massive jet rocket on you. I'm going to put all the rockets on you, all right, Miles? I already told Sean, you're going to get the rocket. You're going to get rockets. We're going to put so many rockets into you. That sounded horrible, didn't it? Okay, no, can you cut that? We're not going to put rockets. We're going to put rockets on you. Many rockets. You're getting the rocket. You're going rocket shipping. Oh, yeah, it'll be on Unreal. Just so it's a wow moment. Wow, on the next Unreal, a relatively unknown gets a world title match on a PLE. One thing about recording these pretty much later in the evening is I've had so much coffee, as if that's different from any other time. Jada Parker, one of my favorites in this industry, versus Carmen Petrovic. Jada high step into another pinfall W. This gal is just awesome. That's all I have in my notes, and that's all you need to know. Jada Parker is that gal. She's beautiful, she's sexy, she's talented, she's got her own thing going, her own gimmick, she's good on the mic. The high stepping is catching fire. We need that on the main roster, bro. Let's just hold off. Let's see how they're going to botch Julia on the main roster with Roxy already and whoever else they bring over. They've already tried Stephanie over there, man. At this point, I would want to stay in NXT for as long as possible until Helmsley's removed from creative, but that's another story. Jada Parker, man, we got to give her a salute. And if we're talking females rocking out on NXT, the main event, Jordynne Grace, Julia. Speaking of Julia, this was a matchup to determine the challenger for the Stephanie's Championship at Battleground. And so, I mean, just think of that. Jordynne Grace, this powerhouse and this finesse skilled, top of the line pro wrestler like Julia, who has been on top of the list of Pro Wrestling Magazine's top 250 for the females. I mean, Julia's been topping those lists, or near the top. And she's taking on this beast, Jordynne Grace. I have so much respect for both these gals. I was like, I had my coffee. I'm like, just go. Go, ladies. This is your time. Early in the match, Jordynne just dropped Julia on her dome piece. But upon replay, it looked like Julia almost wanted to land that way because she had her hands perfectly placed. She was totally fine. It's almost like that's how she kind of wanted to sell it. So it was a good thing I saw that replay because that wasn't totally just Jordynne being reckless at all. But match went on. They had a damn good match. Julia is defeated clean, man. Jordynne Grace defeats Julia straight up. Clean via pinfall. Wow. Like either one of these individuals, I'm totally okay with. They can on any day beat the other. But just to see it happen in real time, no matter who wins, you still got to kind of sit back with your coffee and go, wow. I just saw Julia get pinned straight up clean. And this was by Jordynne Grace. Jordynne becomes the number 1 contender for Stephanie's NXT Championship big title match for Battleground. Jordynne Grace, Stephanie Vacure. Let's go. The other matchup, it's weird. Oba. Weird. Oba versus Miles Bourne. Little Randy. But I'm sure the NXT card is going to file out, man. They never have a problem putting together matchups that you're actually like, gotta see this. Guys, I could keep going, but I already went way past what I was supposed to. My New York Knicks are taking on the Boston Celtics right now. By the time you guys get this, it'll already be, AEW will be done with. So you don't have to worry about catching AEW. It's already over, most likely. But I will have the full review for AEW in tomorrow's Amped Up, so be on the lookout for that. Subscribe, notified, all the things. Just hit all the buttons down below. I appreciate you guys big time, man. Until next time, there will be that next time. BC in the unit, 44 dive. That's a wrap. We're saying check you. Salute.